The peace that man so much seeks is not in the silence of the world, but in the harmony of his own mind. Napoleon Hill understood that the outer chaos is only a reflection of the inner lack of control. Every thought, every emotion, and every mental image forms the ground upon which life is built. When the mind is dominated, fate is shaped. When it is left loose, man becomes a slave of circumstances. The first step toward true peace is to understand that no one can control your mind for you. The mind is the most powerful tool ever given to a human being, and also the most dangerous, if used without consciousness. Hill stated that every achievement is born of disciplined thought. Therefore, those who desire peace must first educate their own thoughts. Tranquility is not a gift, it is a mental achievement. The serene mind is not achieved by fleeing from the world, but by governing the inner world itself. This is the basis of the secret that Hill revealed. Peace begins when the mind becomes a servant of the will and not its mistress. If you believe that true peace is born within you, enjoy this video and continue this inner journey. Napoleon Hill discovered that thought is a real force, invisible, but capable of moving mountains when directed with purpose. The human mind, when disciplined, creates a magnetic field that attracts everything that is in harmony with its vibration. When it is confused, it attracts chaos. When it is focused, it manifests order. Peace of mind is not the result of no challenges, but the ability to stay focused even in the midst of a storm. The domain of thoughts is the shield against fear, doubt, and indecision, the three invisible enemies that destroy the inner balance. Hill taught that each person becomes what he thinks most. Therefore, think in peace, and peace will come. Think in abundance, and abundance will approach. The secret is simple, but requires constancy. The undisciplined mind seeks distraction. The trained mind seeks direction. When you learn to guide your thoughts, you become the architect of your destiny and the guardian of your own serenity. If this message inspires you, sign up and strengthen your mind every day with new teachings. Napoleon Hill asserted that the human mind is composed of reason and emotion, and the balance between both is the key to true peace. When emotion dominates, man becomes impulsive and vulnerable. When reason suffocates the feeling, he loses the inspiration that moves him. Mental harmony is born when emotion is guided by the wisdom of reason, and when reason is nourished by the force of emotion. Peace of mind arises from this state of inner balance, where every thought is conscious and every feeling is understood. Hill said that people fail not for lack of strength, but for lack of emotional control. Fear, anger, and anxiety are forms of energy that, if not transformed, drain the vitality of the mind. The trained mind does not deny emotions. It dominates them. It uses them as fuel for growth, not as chains that trap. When emotion and reason come together, the individual attains the highest level of personal power, one where calm becomes a strategy and peace a daily habit. If you want to learn to master your emotions and live in balance, leave your yes in the comments and continue following this inner transformation. Hill believed that silence is the laboratory of the mind. It is in silence that thoughts are organized, ideas are strengthened, and intuition speaks louder than the noise of the world. Inner peace is born when we learn to listen to our own thoughts without fear of what they reveal. Modern man runs away from silence because he fears facing himself. However, it is in this apparent emptiness that the true fullness is found. Silence is the space where the mind reconnects with its creative force and where confusion gives way to clarity. Napoleon Hill said that every great leader first learned to lead his own inner world. This leadership begins with the ability to remain serene, even when everything around seems to collapse. When you become able to silence the mind, you discover that peace is not absence of sound, but presence of power. At each moment of stillness, you realign your energy, strengthen your concentration, and draw closer to the master mind, the one that creates, attracts, and transforms. If you believe in the power of silence as a source of strength and clarity, please enjoy and share this video with someone who needs to find peace. Napoleon Hill stated that the mind is the filter through which all human experience passes. Nothing is real until it is interpreted by it. Two men may live the same fact, but one sees defeat and the other learns. The difference is in the way the mind reacts. Peace of mind is born when the individual understands that he does not control events, but controls the interpretation he gives to them. The power is in responding, not reacting. The reaction is instinctive, the response is conscious. Hill taught that each thought generates a vibration, and this vibration shapes the reality around it. Who lives in constant negativity attracts confusion and resistance. Who cultivates serenity projects balance and clarity. Mind, therefore, is the guardian of reality, the invisible mirror that reflects everything you believe to be. Train the mind is to train the look. It is to see opportunities where there were obstacles before. It is to choose the calm where the world awaits despair. Thus, peace ceases to be a desire and becomes a constant state of lucid perception and inner power. If you understood that your mind creates its reality, write in the comments, "I choose peace." Napoleon Hill used to say that attention is the channel through which mental power flows. What you focus on grows. What you ignore disappears. The human mind is like a fertile garden. Thoughts are seeds, and attention is the water that makes bloom or dry what we plant. True peace begins when we learn to direct attention. The man who does not control focus is dragged into the chaos of distractions, but he who masters the power of concentration becomes master of his own destiny. Hill noted that the great storytellers had one thing in common. They knew where to keep their minds, even when everything was calling them out. Attention is the invisible muscle of the mind. The more you exercise, the stronger you become. Directing attention to what really matters is the most powerful act one can practice on a daily basis. Peace is not absence of noise, but presence of purpose. And purpose is only born when the mind fixes itself on a clear ideal, without allowing random thoughts to divert its creative energy. If you want to strengthen your mind and stay focused on what really matters, click like and share that learning. Napoleon Hill understood that everything in the universe vibrates, even thoughts. Every idea, emotion, and intention emits a frequency. When the mind vibrates in fear, it attracts insecurity. When it vibrates in confidence, it attracts opportunities. So, peace of mind is not just a psychological state. It is an energetic frequency, reached when the thoughts are in harmony with the inner purpose. Hill taught that man is like a transmitting and receiving station. He sends to the world the mental waves of what he thinks and receives back compatible experiences. Therefore, to cultivate serene thoughts is to align yourself with a vibrational field of balance and prosperity. The agitated mind creates interference. The calm mind creates harmony. When the mental vibration is high, the fear dissolves and the environment responds favorably. The outside world becomes a reflection of the inner domain. Peace is not passivity. It is force vibrating in balance. It is disciplined energy that transforms chaos into order and doubt into direction. If you want to raise your mental vibration and live in balance, write in the comments, "My mind vibrates in peace." Napoleon Hill revealed that the subconscious mind is the breeding ground for all beliefs. What we repeat with emotion becomes inner truth, and this truth shapes our reality. Therefore, those who desire peace must learn to plant words of serenity in their own mind. Self-suggestion is the process by which man re-educates himself mentally. Each repeated thought is an order given to the subconscious, and it obeys without question. When someone says to himself, "I am at peace, I am in control, my mind is calm," he is rebuilding the foundation of his own life. Hill claimed that the mind does not distinguish between the real and the imagined. It reacts to what is constantly stated. The secret is in constancy. An isolated thought is weak. A repeated belief is invincible. Autosuggestion creates the mental habit that keeps peace even in the midst of turbulence. And over time, the subconscious becomes an ally, guardian of tranquility, and multiplier of inner strength. If this message made you reflect, repeat now in the comments, "My mind is my sanctuary." Napoleon Hill taught that peace is not the opposite of force, it is its highest form. When the mind is in harmony, each thought becomes a clear order to the universe. Peace is the sign that man has conquered dominion over himself, and this conquest is the peak of human power. Most believe that peace is inaction, but Hill has shown that it is the basis of effective action. The serene mind sees clearly, decides firmly, and acts with purpose. Calm is the cradle of strategy, and serenity, the fuel of decision. He who attains peace of mind becomes immune to external chaos. No criticism shakes him. No doubt weakens him. He understands that the world responds to its inner state and therefore protects its energy as a sacred treasure. To live in peace is to live in full dominion. It is to walk the world without being dragged by it. It is to transform thought into an instrument of creation and not a weapon of self-sabotage. If you are looking for that quiet force that moves true success, like this video and share the message. Napoleon Hill concluded that the mind is the only boundary between the ordinary man and the extraordinary man. Everything that a human being can achieve is born first in disciplined, serene, and directed thinking. Peace of mind is not the final prize, but the state of consciousness that makes every achievement possible. When the mind is at peace, life flows with precision. Decisions become simple, paths open, and circumstances seem to cooperate with the inner purpose. This synchrony is not magic. It is the result of mental alignment that Hill called harmony with the laws of the universe. Peace is the starting point and the arrival point. It is the supreme power of those who have learned to dominate the invisible to transform the visible. No wealth, no victory, and no recognition have value without this silent balance of the thinking soul. Therefore, seek peace of mind first, and the rest will come as an inevitable consequence. Because he who rules his thoughts rules his own destiny. If this message has awakened something within you, sign up now, strengthen your mind, and share this journey with those who need to awaken the inner power. The world changes when one mind awakens, and the next can be yours.